Now, how many of us have noticed that in the last couple of months, Abuja has been like a construction site? There has been so much work going on the streets of Abuja, on the roads of Abuja, particularly in places like Asokoro, Maitama, Wusetu, all the hearts of Abuja, the luxury places of Abuja. So much work has been going on. Overlaying of the road, in other words, renovation of the road, that's taking off the older surfaces and then replacing the surfaces with new asphalt. So much of this work has been going on in the street of Abuja, and that's fine. The roads are looking more beautiful, very nice, and you can drive on them very smoothly. So that's very good, and it is really nice. Now, also, so many of the bridges have been fully completed, like the Apo Roundabout Bridge, and shortly after that, if you go to after the SAS office, another bridge has also been opened. Then the one in Uye, somewhere around Uye, also is quickly being worked on. And there are so many of these overhead bridges that are being worked on presently in Abuja, and in few months to come, I am very sure if they keep on with this pace, so many of these places will be ready for use. I want to sincerely commend the Minister of FCT for keeping on with this work. Some of these projects were not started by him, but he deemed it fit enough to continue with some of these projects. I must sincerely commend him for all of these good works that are going on in the city of Abuja. But I have an issue with all of these works that are taking place. Majority of these works are only going on in the heart of Abuja, in the luxury places, those places that are meant for the 1% of the 1% of Abuja. Whereas there are just few of these projects going on in the satellite towns. And this is where majority of Abuja's population stay. 99% of Abuja residents stay in the satellite towns like Kubwa, Lugbe, Nyanya, Gwarimpa, Gwagwalada, Zuba, and Kuje, and other area councils. 99% of Abuja residents stay in these locations. But 90% of the infrastructure work is only going on in the places where only 1% of Abuja residents stay. This is just my only concern. I clearly understand that places like Wusetu, Maitama, Asokoro, Wuse, and all of that, they are the heart of Nigeria. I clearly understand. This is where main activities are taking place. But let's look at the population. So now it will really not be fair enough to push 90% of the infrastructure to where just 1% of Abuja residents are staying. Now let me share something with you. Myself and a particular client were somewhere in Lugbe behind the River Park, behind the Dunamis Dome. That's behind River Park Estate. If you go behind there, you'll be so surprised the number of building projects being undertaken by individuals and by estates. The properties in these locations are worth billions of nairas. I mean, over 100 billions. You get, but the only thing I observe is there was basically no access road. There wasn't any access road to these places. You would struggle to drive down to these places. Yes. What I'm being concerned about is some of these roads that are being overlaid. They are really not bad. If you take them to the satellite town, man, those guys will kneel down and lift their hands up and say thank you for bringing us these particular roads. If you go to places like maybe Lugbe, Kubwa, and even Kuje, and most of those satellite towns, they don't have roads. Instead of pushing 90% of the project to the city center that is just being occupied by only 1% of Abuja's population. So why don't we share it and make it in such a way that like 50% of these road construction projects are being allocated to the satellite towns, to the area councils. This will explode Abuja. Some of these places that are developing, they have one problem. Most of these places that are developing, most places in Abuja have just one problem, and the problem is access road. Most of the time you will see the road is untarred, is unfit. You can't even drive. And then when you go inside, you will see properties worth hundreds of millions, and then you will just be shocked. You get, if government can just push maybe 5-kilometer road, 10-kilometer road to some of these places, you will be so surprised how these places will be fully developed. Do not forget, infrastructure such as access road, drainage system are the bedrock to every form of development, be it in advanced world or in developing nations. You get? So infrastructures are key things that can never be looked down on, particularly in developing nations like Nigeria. Now, if you are close to the Minister of FCT, please advise him. Get, when it comes to election, 99% of the votes that come from Abuja, they come from the satellite towns. I mean, how many people stay in Wuse to Asukuru, Maitama, Gusapi, and all of that? What's the population of people that stay there? It's just 1%. 99% of the votes from Abuja are coming from the satellite town. So if you actually want to buy the heart of individuals, if you actually want to buy the heart of Abuja residents, then infrastructures in this satellite should be a priority, because that's where 99% of the voting capacity of Abuja is coming from. You get? So if you are close to the Minister of FCT, you can reach out to him. You can tell him this. This is a secret that I'm sure he doesn't know. You get? But now, my point is, infrastructure has remained the bedrock for any development in any nation. You get? Now let me tell you something. Do you know why Gusapi as a place exploded just within a short period of time? The development in Gusapi exploded. Do you know why? All the infrastructures in Gusapi were fully in place, and so it was easier for individuals to quickly come in and develop those places, because the access route, the drainage system, and the sewage system were all in place. And so when you come in, you don't have, even if your plot is on the inside, you don't have challenge accessing those places, because all the infrastructures are fully in place. So please, if you work with the Ministry of Federal Capital Territory and you are in charge of allocating roads, you are in charge of allocating resources to the city of Abuja, once in a while you need to go to places like Lugbe, Kubwa, Kuje, and all of that to see, man, there are just no roads in these places. Their roads are bad. The roads are so bad. You get? So that the sharing formula will be fair enough to the people in the satellite town. Those of us in the satellite towns, we are not asking for much. We are not saying come and remove the road and overlay them. No, all we are saying is come and patch the potholes. All we are saying is give us access road. You get? With the presence of access road, so many Abuja residents will be very happy. That's just all we are asking for. So guys, those of you who are very familiar with Abuja, share with me your opinions. What are your thoughts? Share with me your opinions in the comment section. I remain Dave, Abuja's most credible real estate investment coach.